So, I like Team Fortress 2. I think I can kind of admit that after putting hundreds and hundreds of hours into the game. And I think that there are two main game modes that I think are fun. Being casual, even if it has its arguable flaws, and man versus machine.
That's why I am trying to kick you. I am still speaking. I am still speaking.
However, man versus machine has been just left to fucking rot in a corner. Seems to be quite a running theme in Team Fortress 2. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Potatoes servers, and if you don't know what Potatoes is, they pretty much are a community-ran man versus machine server and host that show off fan-made man versus machine maps, and even will get Valve to help them make sure that when you play their tours, you will get a badge made by them. Which, can I say, it's funny that Valve is willing to go ahead and show in like community updates and stuff about the whole operations and stuff that they're doing, but then not update MVM themselves. They also run charities, and I've just been playing a lot of their servers because there's about 7 MVM maps. There's then 185 maps for just the other normal TF2 game modes. And I feel like Man vs. Machine got the same treatment as Danger Zone and Counter-Strike, where it's a genuine fun side mode, but it just got fucked by Valve. But unlike the Counter-Strike community, we actually enjoy MVM, where the Counter-Strike community just hated Danger Zone with a fucking burning passion. And lately, just out of pure boredom, on Gary's mod, I've decided, literally just out of boredom, I don't even know what made me have this idea, to take normal TF2 maps and try to make them feel like a man versus machine map. And, well, they get nobody looks at them on the Gmod workshop. And so I figured, why not go ahead and show them off in a video. I'll have a link to a collection that has both the required add-ons to run them properly, along with a link to the saves themselves. All that you need is Team Fortress 2 to play them and look at them. The first one I did this on was 2 Fort.
Pissing all by yourself, handsome?
So with each casual map now turned into a MVM map, I also gave a little bit of a story, I guess. Nothing plot heavy, but just a basic concept for why Red is attacking robots and why robots are attacking Red. And the first one was 2 Fort. So the quote-unquote lore of this map is that the Red team has been trying to convert robots to work for them, turning the blue robots into now the red robots. This is highlighted with red engineers being at upgrade stations, seeing a red soldier trying to teach other red robots, and a red soldier robot trying to, I guess, talk to blue robots. But oh no, the robots have spotted them and have now used the blue base to set up camp. Now, if I were to turn these into actual MVM maps, I can safely say 2 Fort would be the worst one. And it's for a good few reasons, and one is that there is no room for giant or tanks. The doorways are far too small to fit a giant MVM robot. Hey y'all, Future Me here. So I was looking and doing some testing and stuff with a TF2, like, next bots, kinda sorta. And I was messing with the giant robots. And I think the robots could probably fit through the front doors and barn entrance of the red base, but they can't fit at all into the intel tunnels. The one intel tunnel near spawn is too small, and the other one they could walk through, but then they clip their head through the doorway. So it's kind of possible, but not really. And there is no option to have a tank. I mean, tanks themselves are bosses. Usually, combined with other giant robots, it causes a lot of cooperation to have to go down. Planning on, do we get rid of the giant robot with the bomb first, or do we get rid of the tank? Both are a danger, and both will screw you over if you don't focus on one over the other. The only thing you could do here is have crit-powered robots. So there's not much room to be creative with the robot types. Now, with these maps, I'm not going to go over every single detail. I do not have the patience to do that whatsoever. One thing I did is that at each upgrade station, I put a red engineer behind it. Basically, he's meant to come off as the guy giving you the upgrades. I always did find that funny in MVM maps that you just got the upgrade stations from a station with no one there. Like, who are you giving your money to? Why are you getting the upgrades? Now, if this was to be turned into an MVM map, first thing I would do with these spawn rooms is get rid of the damn trigger that prevents you from going back into the room. When going out and looking at the outdoor area of red space, you can very easily spot a bunch of the robot carriers in the distance. And when going further out, you see there's even more. The bomb hatch for this map, by the way, was in the intel room, and this is, again, if this was turned into an MVM map, here's another reason this would suck. The hatch is so far down. So not only would the chances of the robots even making it down there be slim to none because there's no room for giants or tanks, if a robot did get down there, it's gonna take a bit of a jog to reach them. And 2-4 is such a cramped map. There are some capture the flag maps that avoid this issue of being overly cramped in my opinion. Landfall, Pelican Peak, there's some maps that can avoid it, but most of them, Turbine especially, are super cramped. Compare this to our Lord and Savior Upward, amazingly made payload map by Valve. There is room for all sorts of play styles. You can be a Troller with your market gardener and try to land airstrikes on people. You can use the jetpack as pyro with a backburner to sneak up on a medic and heavy. A demo man could use the sticky jumper to go ahead and fling himself all the way to red spawn. There's room for all the play styles. And this MVM map would not really allow much. Alright, let's go ahead and try to get into describing the map's flow, how it would necessarily work. The main area has these two boats that are in the little canal sewer section. Don't ask how, but you could use them to go ahead and jump up, minus the fact that final thing doesn't let you, and also for some reason I put foliage props in the water, but 2-4 takes place in a desert. I don't understand. It was my first time, okay? Something I did do is that even though the robots were coming from Blue's base, you could partially enter it to get some ammo and health if you were desperate for it. My main idea is that the robots would come out from pretty much all entrances of the Blue base, coming from the top, from the bottom. Maybe snipers and spies would come out of the sewers almost as a flank route. Also, for some reason, across the map, I decided to put those medieval torches that would allow the sniper to light up his arrow and the medieval map to group keep. I don't know why. I mean, it's nice to give the snipers the option, but I don't know why they're there. There was also an access way into the sewers, and you were able to partially enter the Blue base. Within Blue's base, the only thing there was a large health pack and large ammo refill. It was kind of meant to be like if you're desperate for health and ammo, you can risk it going into the Blue base, getting the health and ammo, and then get out. Within the sewers, both red and blues, there was a few props, but just to decorate them, nothing major. And yeah, that was pretty much my first ever attempt at turning a normal map into an MVM map. It was, by all means, shit. It was my first attempt and was terrible. And I made it about 2 years ago. After this, the next one I made was Upward. Ironically enough, out of the other two I've made after it, I'd argue this one's my favorite. So the quote-unquote plot of this map is that the red base in Upward has a giant missile they're planning on sending to the machine's headquarters. The two teams, red and blue, have been working together, but robots have once again overtaken a blue base. It's a common theme you'll see throughout these. Not only that, but the robots have now built their own bomb they plan on pushing to the blue base to destroy the missile. This is where I think a unique game mechanic could happen with this map. As to whether or not it's possible to do an actual MVM, I don't know. But basically, the robots would push this bomb and try to push it to, well, the bomb site, along with the bomb carrier also trying to get there. And if they captured a point, they would get more and more buffs. At first, maybe just a speed boost. Then, eventually, some damage resistance, and after the second to final point, they would just get crits. At the end of each wave, the bomb would teleport back to the blue base and begin the whole cycle again. Also, fun fact, when I first made this save, for some reason I decided to put a tank in the robot spawn area, but a tank couldn't physically fit in the fucking bomb route, and so as of recording, I've changed it to just be a giant robot in the background instead. Throughout the map's skybox, you can see certain things in the distance that kind of sort of show the robots are taking over. And right around the final point of the red base, you can see a machine carrier, like, practically in jumping distance, but you know, there's actually no collision. Around the docks across the map, you can find tanks being deployed and being prepared to be sent to the red base. Throughout the map, you can find vehicles, crates, and other small little tiny items just to add decoration. Within the map, there's 2 upgrade stations. One near the one spawn room and upward that has basically no side route, and then one at the final point. An idea I had is that this middle point would eventually close, and so would the sewer entrance if you were to lose this point. And there's not much really to mention other than this weird deer cutout that's just put here. I don't know why. But I think if this was to be made into an MVM map, I'd argue it has the best shot at being a decent one. Although there's no room for tanks, there is room for giants, and I feel like you could have just a lot of potential with it. After this, I then went ahead and, a long time later, did the same treatment to Hightower.
Yes, sirree. Thought about killing myself.
The little mini lore here is very basic. Red and Blue called a ceasefire to try to work on fighting the robots. Robots took over the blue base, and now you have to stop the robots from using the blue base to set up their grounds. Also, unlike the other maps, you're actually able to see the blue team getting, I guess you could say, taunted or insulted by the robots. Much like the Upward map, this one had kind of the same concept. A bomb that would be pushed and reset at the end of a wave. If it reached the bomb site, game over. One notable thing is that since this map is so large, and because normally there's a lot of health and ammo packs, a lot of them are covered up, usually with crates or just other weird smaller props. Mainly the blue base. Blue base's health and items are just gone, but Red's base still has them, and everything in the middle is still there. The robots would pretty much follow the blue track, along with their payload bomb. The red tracks had nothing. There was no bomb to push, just a hole to defend. And in order to visually, clue the people in on this, there's vehicles blocking the red railway, and the tank that sits near where the bomb would be is just still. Within the background, you're able to see 2 robot carriers far out in the distance. And across from there was also a helicopter, and if you zoomed in, you could even see some bones behind a tree. This map could probably actually work more than even the Upward map, honestly. There's room for giants, maybe even a tank if you want to repurpose that railway for a tank. There's lots of potential for this to actually be a somewhat functioning, if it was real, MVM map. The only real issue is that you could probably push the bomb carriers off with a decent pyro, and the bomb would pretty much not be a threat. But then again, the payload bomb the robots push, if it was able to be programmed, would kind of counteract that. And then after this, I've made my most recent, and as of now, final one, Powerhouse.
Please! Damn! Damn!
The idea for this one actually started midway through making the Hightower map. Basically, I just asked one of my friends for shits and giggles, hey, what TF2 map do you think I should try to make feel like an MVM map? And they just said Powerhouse just on a whim. So I then spent the next 4 days. This one, I think, concept-wise, could work as an MVM map, but overall, probably not. The basic plot for this one was that Blue and Red had ordered a ceasefire, much like Hightower, and were working together to fight the robots. Blue was actually going ahead and creating machines and weapons to fight the robots more effectively. However, robots have now come. And so because of this, the blue base is all under lockdown, and robots have even snuck in through a few parts of it. So now the red base must defend not only their base, but prevent the blue base from getting taken over. At first, an idea I had was that there was actually 2 bomb hatches, but I thought in practice that would be a fucking nightmare to manage. And as far as I'm aware, MVM robots are more or less just coded to follow the one route that they're given that wave to the bomb. It might get randomized, that route, but it's usually a route. One thing I did to go ahead and visually tell the player that the control points in this map mean nothing, they're null, they have no purpose, is that there's junk and steel covering the control points. This is my subtle way of saying, hey, the control points don't matter anymore because that ceasefire, it's the robots. The robots come out of 2 main entrances, and then there was a side route for a tank. I actually had the idea that there is 2 tank routes that could happen. And perhaps for the final wave, you're bombarded by 3 tanks all at once. 2 of them coming out of one tunnel and 1 coming out of the other. And a small issue is that the tanks would 100% clip into the little corner that leads into the red base. But just, okay, we'll ignore that. The bomb hatch is where there was once just a giant glass floor that revealed some stuff. And within that base is vehicles, crates, and just other junk lying around. There were a few segments of the blue base you could enter, mainly the garage and the upper area, which the upper area showed that they were actually trying to make a sort of, weapon to fight the robots. The final point, in my opinion, is just a room that exists for the sake of existing. In reality, I really should have put the bomb in here, but due to lighting issues, I thought it just looked terrible. So I ended up moving it into another room, being the room with the glass floor, and that's where the bomb hatch is. There was an upgrade station in spawn, along with a map showing that Red, in their progress against the robots, has been going somewhat effectively, showing that they're trying to basically flank the robots. I also had to do a little bit of research to find out where TF2 is located, like on Earth, finding out TF2 is mainly located in New Mexico, so I had to do a little bit of research to make that look accurate, I guess you could say. Within the background, you could see 2 giant robot carriers, one on top of Blue's base and another across from the powerhouse. And then up in the sky was a Zeppelin. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really know whose side it's really on. It's just there because I thought it looked cool. Also, I won't lie, I kind of lied earlier. When I said that Blue's base is under lockdown, I kind of under-exaggerated it because I forgot to mention that Blue's base has very visible signs of destruction. When looking through the windows in the final point, you can see debris, and a window in another area you can see debris. Overall, Blue's base is kind of fucked now that the robots are here. And yeah, that's pretty much all the maps I've turned into MVM maps. I have more in the works I plan on doing. I'm currently trying to make a MVM version of Swiftwater right now. I've had thoughts about trying the Applejack map because I asked my friend again for an idea and he suggested it as a joke, and once again I'm taking his joke to the extreme. And I can't name a map I want to do it on, but I do want to make a sort of MVM themed map where it's actually red robots and blue defending a hatch. And a small little, I guess you could say, side tangent, potatoes. Feel free to steal my idea here. But honestly, a cool potatoes or MVM fan operation thing, in my opinion, would be having normal maps, but MVMified. That's a new word now, deal with it. I don't know, Operation Old Town, Operation Retraced Roads, I don't fucking know. But I just felt like sharing these because I had nowhere else to share them. Gmod Workshop, ain't nobody gonna look at them over the 1 million fucking FNAF saves. And yeah, just felt like sharing these because a lot of you people like watching my videos, so yeah. If you have any maps you think I should try to turn into an MVM map, feel free to comment below. Feel free to tell me if you think some maps that I showed here would be terrible in practice. And yeah, this was just a short little video. Well, short by my normal video length, by all means. And yeah.